Right. So we had a really good day today. I had a really good guess on a price today that turned out to be perfect, which call it skill, luck, whatever. Good ball bounce. You get a good bounce, a favorable bounce of the ball. So be it. We're going to talk about a big trend today and just kind of some sectors that we're looking at and why they popped today. Now, overall, pretty much everything was in the green today. There were some in the red. We're going to talk about one of them. And why I think it's a clear out the suckers type of a thing for people who are being very myopic. So overall today, we gained about $4,300, about 6% today. The market itself went up 1.37. So again, we smoke the market. Now keep in mind, the portfolio that I have for this COVID recovery is not Dow Jones stocks or NASDAQ stocks or S&P stocks. They're not really the stocks. These are like the multinational corporations, and they're the ones that are just, they're probably going to do well no matter what, and they didn't really get hit as much on the front end. Where we do more travel stocks, oil stocks, casinos, and other ones that we just, look at and are just like absolute no-brainers. They're massive coupons, discounts, scratch and dent sales, we'd like to say. So it's like we go in, we see this amazing company, does well on its market share, or it's getting meetings with the president, or it's getting earmarks in Congress for bailouts. Those are the ones that we want because it's really not a level playing field, and we're going to take advantage of it. And most people don't think enough to do that. So overall today, the big thing that we saw here, and no, it's not the economy is going up because they think Joe Biden's going to be president. What a bunch of crap that was. But rather, the market always relays, it's always about the color green, man. And so, there was all the news stories about cases going up, and New York is closing everything at 10, which, by the way, you close your restaurants at 10, you close your restaurant bars at 10. I'm not really sure how the coronavirus just decides to start working at 10. Maybe it's working third shift. I don't know. But they also closed gyms at 10. Now, I don't know how many of you guys have been to a gym at 10 p.m., but I'm guessing nobody. And the reason I say that is because if you go into a gym at 10 p.m., no one's there. Now, it's the time of day where you're probably going to run into fewer people in the gym than any place else. And yet, they keep it open during the day when there's more people, but they somehow think it's more dangerous when there's fewer people there? Okay, that makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah, whatever. I don't get that at all. And it's like, okay, we're going to close it at 10. I mean, you'd think you would just change the occupancy level. Like, you go into a restaurant and it says like maximum occupancy 273, and it's always like an exact number, like 273 people. Why can't they just change it to 50, 80, 70, and then you don't have to worry too much about it? But I don't get it. It just seems so backwards and stupid. And so anyway, here in California, they moved San Diego County from a red to a purple, which basically means nothing to you guys at all. But what it means is the big change was businesses have to close, like retail businesses have to close, and restaurants can't do indoor dining at all. So before it was like 25 or 50% or whatever it is indoor capacity. And now they said no more indoor dining. So basically breweries are out the window for the most part. And indoor businesses are going to close. And I'm getting my hair cut pretty soon. And, the salon's closed. So either I'm going to pull a Nancy Pelosi and go in when the economy, when it's closed, and they're just going to say, screw it. We're disregarding the order, or she's going to come over to my house and get it done. But one way or the other, she's getting paid. All right. So anyway, CNN basically says stocks rally as investors shake off worries from infections in the economy. And it's like the big wild card you see here is the vaccine. It's just a matter of when it comes out and who gets it first. And, keep in mind, let's say a vaccine came out today, unless you have some major problems, health-wise or age-wise in your life, you're not getting it anytime soon. It's probably going to go to people that are, 70, 80 years old. It's funny, like my dad's 83 years old, and there's certain he was getting treated for a colon cancer. Not good news, obviously. And there were certain things they said they wouldn't do for him because it's like, look, he's 83 years old. They're not going to give it to somebody who's that old. So I'm thinking the vaccine may or may not happen for people like if you're 97 years old. And we've seen those when we talk about COVID numbers for San Diego here. They may not give it to you. Who knows? But they're probably going to give it to people that are 60, 70 years old. They're people that have diabetes, people with known underlying conditions that are just really not good for COVID. But if you're 25 years old, yeah, first of all, you're probably not going to want it or get the vaccine, but or you're probably not going to want the vaccine or even need it. But even if you did, you're probably way down the list, so to speak. So people look at anything that's going on and the COVID cases going up, and they don't really see it reflected in hospitalizations to a great degree. And definitely the deaths are going down. And we'll take a look at that again today. All right, let's see. Diego. All right, we'll get that loaded up. But they basically see that with the vaccine in the future, and they're like, it doesn't really matter what it is because we're on the back end, and pretty soon it won't matter. And then there was a report that came out, and somebody came out, and I thought it was really stupid, but they're like, yeah, in 6 months, they're forecasting 0 cases. And I'm like, you will never get 0 cases. I mean, there's still bubonic plague in Los Angeles. So it's like, if you get bubonic plague happening, a case of that, or cases, you're going to get a COVID case here or there, but it's going to be minor. It's going to be small. So let's talk about the stocks that hit today. So number one, this stock that I'm like super impatient on, I've been waiting for to pop, was Braemar Hotels. This used to be my number one producer overall, and it's just been flat for a while. But it went up 13% today, which is a beautiful thing. This is basically a company that does hotels and casinos, smaller non-Vegas casinos. Soho, these two, Braemar Resorts and Soho, have a soft piece in my heart. That went up 7% today as well. So you start to see these are all travel stocks. Ryman Hospitality, and they do, they do Grand Ole Opry. They have basically a bunch of stuff in Nashville, WSM, etc. So these are all the people that would travel to Nashville for vacation. So think of all the country music fans or all the people on the East Coast that want to go see, anything country music related. This is the company. And they went up 7% today. Tennessee is a Republican state, so they're probably more likely to open up sooner than later. So we'll see what happens. Service Properties Trust went up 8% today, and they do hospitality and travel services. Basically, they do hotels throughout basically the U.S., Puerto Rico, and Canada. VVI used to be, Viad used to be Greyhound, which I always remember that. It's kind of weird, but they do travel reservations and overall just, vacation type things. They went up 7% today. Azul, the Brazilian airline, went up 5% today, 6% actually. Spirit Airlines, worst airline on the planet. I don't care if the stock went to a penny. I wouldn't buy the stock because I don't want it attached to my name. And you start to second guess that a little bit. Like if you get a 1 penny stock option, would you take it? No, I still wouldn't. Cruise lines, they had a really good day today. They went up 7% today. Norwegian's up 7%. Carnival's up 7.5%. And then moving on to some other sectors, just some kind of miscellaneous ones that went up today. Velocity Financial, they do mortgage underwriting. They went up 9%. So I'm guessing people who are refining their mortgage, and I am doing that right now as well. When the market's really low and there's a lack of uncertainty, that really bodes well for them. So yeah, they went up 9% today. Houghton Mifflin, I was called Hufflin Mifflin. Houghton Mifflin went up 11% today. They are the number one market leader in school textbooks. Pearson is behind them. They went up 11%, 10%, 11% today. Xantas, this was my least performing stock. This is the one that if we look at our portfolio, it's the one that has, it's just been the trailing one on here. And they do commercial real estate REITs. And so this one I knew would probably take the longest. So it was kind of surprising it went up 10% today. I don't really have an answer on why. It just went up 10% today, which if this one goes up 10%, that's really good. We go to the movies and malls and things like that. Cinemark went up 11% today. And again, vaccine equals large gatherings equal movie theaters. Children's Place, they do Children's Place, Baby Place, and Gymboree. So a bunch of stuff for little kids. That went up 9% today. It's just mall stocks going up today. And the last mall stock we're going to talk about, Signet Jewelers, my number one producer. And this one is going to be, this one went up, 6-7% today. So we'll talk about this one shortly. This one, we basically bought it for $6.50. It's sitting at 26, which is just perfect. And we're sitting at a 300% return, meaning we quadrupled our money. Now, the area that I'm going to talk about that I think is a clear the suckers area is one where we're going to talk about oil stocks. So we have FANG, and we're going to talk about UCO in a sec, but FANG, which is Diamondback Energy, went up 7% today, and PBF went up 8% today. And one of the things that we did with PBF, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, is we actually sold our position in PBF today, but it was a pretty good price guess. So, but both of those went up today. So you'd think, okay, well, if that's the case, UCO is going to go up because this is our oil, our big holding that we have in oil stocks, basically, and it's an oil exchange traded fund. But this one went down 4% today, which was kind of odd. It started off, pretty much break even, and it just slowly went down and down. And you'd think, well, why is that? Well, what they do, this is basically a company that produces oil, whereas this is one that basically takes a look. They have an oil contract. Let's say they buy it for 4 months. At the end of 4 months, and that's my dog, Kenji. All right. Kenji didn't know that stock was going to go down as well. Come on, buddy. Come on, lay down. So let's say they buy oil futures for February, or let's say we bought them for November, right? 4 months ago, and we bought them for, let's say, $30 a share, and they come for delivery, and it's $40 a share. They make money off that, right? And then what happens is they're going to buy a stock for 4 months out, which is basically March. And it's like if they can buy it for 30 and then sell it for 40, when it comes for delivery, you buy it for 30 early on, 4 months later it's worth 40 or 50 or 60, then you're making money on it. So that difference between the price you initially bought it for 4 months out and the price when they take delivery on the oil, that's how they basically make money on this stock. And so the more money you're making in the stock, the more people want the stock. So if it's priced at 20 and they realize, man, this stock is actually worth more than $20 a share, people end up buying it. And so this one right now, we kind of look at the price of oil going up. Diamondback Energy's stock is going up. PBF Energy is going up. Let's put oil price today. All right. All right, so let's see what the price of oil is. I haven't checked this in a little bit. $40 a share. So it's about where it was before. If we look over a month, it's been it actually went down and then it went up. So oil stock, well, we'll see if it's going up as a trend, but overall we see a relatively flat trend line. It's probably going up a little. So we had a trend line like this, and then it went down, and then we have a trend line where it kind of went up a little bit. So, but with the economy coming back, with the vaccine out there, there's going to be more commerce, which means more trucks driving, more cars driving, and more oil being used. So this one might have went down today, but overall, every sign in the world is going to go up and up and up and up, at least for the foreseeable future. So we're not going to touch that one. Let's talk about our portfolio. Actually, no, we'll touch on the COVID thing we talked about. We're going to see a whole lot of change on this. Again, we went into purple, which is like the worst tier. It's where the governor basically can stick his elbow on our neck. They need to recall that governor here in California. Basically, cases went up, but if we look at some of the other ones, testing's going up as well. And the overall testing rate, we went up a little bit from 2.65 to 3.6, but in the state of California, I think the average is like 6 to 7%. So we're doing really well here overall. Hospitalizations are relatively flat. And again, if you're hospitalized, let's say you're getting your gallbladder removed and they find out you have COVID, you count for that even if you're asymptomatic. Hospital beds being used here, and this is very similar to the national trend. There's 6,000 beds available, and only 300 of them roughly are being used by COVID patients. So, you could sit here and say heart disease, and that number is going to be way higher than this one. Deaths by day, again, trend line's going way down. There's a bunch of zeros that we have here. And if we look at, I was like looking at this is probably the most entertaining part of when we look at this data, because it really paints the picture. All right. Underlying medical conditions, we have a no here, but the person's 67 years old. So, but everything else is yeses down there. We have 77, 53, 62, 83, 56, 72, 76, 76, 83, 81, 92. May everybody live to be 92. 73, 49, but underlying medical conditions, I'm guessing diabetes. 59, 89, 89. This is probably your couple right here. I hate to say it. I hate to say this, sounds bad. One of them died, and they're 89. They were probably married for 50 to 60 years, and the next day, the other one kicked the bucket as well. So that's, I'm guessing, a married couple right there. 56, 67, 65, 82, 83, 86, 71, 68. We got 31 underlying health conditions. I'm guessing diabetes or something like that. But overall, you look at this. This is like the AARP, recruitment roster. So overall things, like we saw before, you get a vaccine. All these people are going to be getting the vaccine on the front, except for this person here they have underlying medical conditions. So pretty much everybody here on this list that we see here is going to be on the front end of getting a vaccine. So you're going to see all this trend disappear. All right. So one of the things we did, I put in a sell for PBF at 650. It was originally, I think, 601. And it went all the way up to 650 today, sold there, and it retreated down to 649. So it was the perfect price for the sale of PBF, which is our oil stock. So let's clean this up. All right. As far as other ones, IVR, Invesco, the Invesco Real Estate REIT, that one is 20 cents away. It's sitting at 320. When it gets to 340, we're going to sell, not all of it, but 420 shares of that, free up another $1,500. We cleared up about $5,500 from that PBF one. UCO, when it gets to 32, it'll be a while before it gets there. We'll clear some money. And XAN went up today, 276. It's still got a little bit to go, basically 50 cents a share to get up to there. So we're not going to see anything sell for the time being. We do have a price for, I put it in for Helix last week. We're taking a look at the upside and Helix Energy, which is, I don't think it's this far down. No, I missed it. Did I miss it? Where did that go? Oh, Helix. It's in the yellow. Duh. 78% buy rate and 3-to-1 upside. Helix is an oil company. So, we're looking at getting in that one just because, honestly, this buy percentage looks really, really good. So it's sitting at 298. If it gets down to 250, we'll buy it. If not, then I don't really care if we buy it. But we freed up $5,500 to reinvest today. So the question is, should we buy anything else today? Well, PBF is up here. We just sold. So we're going to let this, we'll let it go down. If it goes down further, we may rebuy it. Let's say if it goes down to 6, we may rebuy it again and to just readjust our cost basis. If not, if it goes up, then so be it. Texas, we actually had this recently. We sold it. Condor, not ready yet. Helix, we have that there. AVCT, we sold, which is kind of an anti-COVID stock. So it does well when COVID's doing really well. Or when COVID's being not well, but when COVID's hitting things more and having a negative effect on society. So we sold that. We're not getting into that one again. And beyond that, we could do a cruise line or AMC, but it's only a 2.5-1 to upside. So considering that we had a day where the stock went up really well today, I think what we're going to do, because it went up, $4,000 today, $4,400. I think what we're going to do is we're going to wait it out. If the market goes up, we'll enjoy our gains. If the market goes down, we'll find one that we want to buy. We already have Helix in the midst. Right now we're at 95,000, and again, if we had that $5,525 from the PBF share sale, then we'd be almost at 101,000, which is a beautiful thing. It just means really what we did is we paid down the margin in a sense. So we're sitting here doing pretty well. To talk about market leaders, Signet is officially officially quadrupled, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Caesars Palace, Caesars Entertainment is probably one of the next ones up that we're going to see get to the triple amount. Redwood Trust is a REIT that's moving that way as well. Crestwood Equity and Oil Stocks about to triple. Every, which is our Vegas ATM one, is getting ready to, that's moving really, really well, getting ready to triple. Bramer, it's not up there yet, but it's up at 60%, which is good. Azul's about to double. And let's see, IVR and Yuko are getting close to being break even, which is a beautiful thing. And XAN, we could buy more, but I don't really feel the need to do that yet because it's kind of an anti-COVID stock. If it comes up, great. If it doesn't, so be it. And then GNC went into bankruptcy, so we're just floating it. I just bought $700 as a floater. I really don't care if I lose it all or if I triple it, that's fine too. I really don't care. But as far as where we go for the break-even point, let's see. The only one, DraftKings, we have here. This is DraftKings. It's not really a COVID stock. It's just a great stock to own. Outside of that, the ones that are closest that we might even sell when we liquidate, well, FANG is an oil stock. We're not going to touch that one. Signet is basically $400 from hitting our COVID drop-off recovery target. So the question is, when it hits that number and this goes zero or in the negative, meaning we made our money that we anticipated, do I sell that or do I wait for it to keep going up? The answer, I have no freaking clue. But that being said, we'll figure it out. We have a fun weekend planned. We're going to do some fun stuff, enjoy life, hang out, have a cocktail or two. But for right now, we're on pace for 314,000, and this goes toward the beach home. So have a great weekend. Take a look at this spreadsheet. There's a link to it in the video description. And if you have any questions, let me know. If you have any comments, let me know. But I'm telling you, Trump said 2021 is going to be the best year in American history economically. So don't liquidate yet. Maybe that's my answer for Signet. So we'll see how things go. But have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday. To get more information on the sales cheat code, go ahead and click on the subscribe button below. Also, down below in the video description, down there, there's a link that takes you to our website that gives you additional content, some additional freebies that we have, and gives you information on some programs that we have that have been proven to help people to make sales easy so that you can make the kind of money you want, live the lifestyle that you've always wanted, and not have to struggle in the process. And what might be the coolest thing of all is you don't have to put much effort into it. It truly is a cheat code that most people don't know about. And it's a cheat code that can change your life today. So click on the link below and let me help you start to experience these results starting right now.